Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com. Hey y'all, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Mary Payne here. I'm a little frazzled, guys. I'm a little frazzled. I got dogs barking. Kimberly, how are you?
I'm tired, but I'm good.
Yeah. I watched you guys on Sunday night. I watched your Yellow Jackets recap of episode 8, and wow, it was really good. And I watched every minute from the
Thank
minute
you.
you
It was
came
very
on. I was
long.
waiting. Yeah.
And I had a
waited the whole
2.5-hour live stream in the morning for Patreon.
Ooh.
So I did 4.5 live stream hours yesterday. It's tiring.
That's more than I want to do in a whole month.
I know.
That's
No,
a
I
lot.
like doing it. I love doing it, actually, but it is very tiring. Yeah.
Well, it was great. And I just can't believe we only have one episode left of freaking Yellow Jackets.
I know. We're not saying anything.
We're not. I'm just saying if you have seen episode 8, you can go over to A Date with K&K on YouTube and watch it. Or if they're on your guys' Patreon or Supercast or whatever, they can get the audio now or later. Yeah.
Yes.
Whenever.
Now. Yeah.
Now. So if you like just audio, you've got that now, right now.
Do it.
So I don't have much.
And I
else
hope
to
you'll join us
report.
for a chit chat next time after the 9th episode. If we do a post season discussion.
Yeah, I could do a drop in, drop out. I don't think I'm not qualified enough to talk the whole time.
Maybe you and Amy, because she's qualified, right?
She's very.
She could cover for you if you say anything dumb.
Yeah, she covers for me a lot. So we have to jump right into this episode because it was long. I normally, if an episode is this long, say if an episode's 2 hours, it might take me a little over an hour to take notes because I can zip through. But this almost took me 2 hours to take these notes.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's short. Dateline takes me at least twice as long. So if it's a 2 hour, it takes me 4 hours. But there's a murder happening. So
right. These are important. These are things that we're just like talking about people's outfits.
These are just leading up to a potential murder.
Right.
That we haven't had yet, but it's coming.
When we get to it, you can tell me who you think it is. Actually, you know what we're going to do is we're going to start with the people where I think the murder is going to occur, which is Nicole and Mahmoud.
Uh-huh.
Wow. So this episode opens, this is season 4, episode 16, Tell All Part 2. And Nicole's crying and Mahmoud has walked away again. And then they're saying like, wow, that's what he does. He just walks away. And she's like, yeah, you can see where it's a challenge for me, right? He's a good person. I love him so much. But it can be difficult. Hi, honey.
I love that they shade her in the previously on because they show the part where Gabe says, I don't like Mahmoud. He's too controlling. And she smiles and says, are you going to tell him that today?
Uh-huh.
She totally encouraged, I mean, it's not her fault, but like she totally encouraged Gabe to poke the bear. And then he did. And then Mahmoud stormed off.
She sort of wants to be like, it's not just me that thinks this. Everybody in the world also thinks this.
And I don't blame her, but it was a little bit of stirring the pot.
She just does a lot of kowtowing to him that I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
And then Danielle is the opposite, right? So we need somebody in the middle.
Right? Yeah, it's too extreme.
Two extremes. So she walks away. She walks away to call him.
That's what we have to do on our show.
And Danielle is like, this is triggering for me because I have so many similar experiences with Yohan. Then we see Nicole
crying. Danielle, this is not about you.
Well, her turn is coming next week. Her turn's coming next week.
It's not now, though. Don't jump the line, Danielle.
We're saving your shit story till the end. So we see Nicole talking to Mahmoud, who's having like a total meltdown. And he is walking around, flinging his arms with a cigarette around like he's Dorinda on a bender. You know, he's just like, people are being mean to me. They're being mean to me. He's like, don't talk about my children. Don't talk about my children. You're trying to make me look bad and my country look bad and my religion look bad. And I'm not sorry. I'm not saying sorry to anybody. And it's not his business to tell me how my kids will be. And you're not even supporting me, to Nicole. And she's like, well, he's just smoking,
Yeah.
poking, Dorinda, arm waving. At one point, he kicks a tree. And
I missed him kicking a tree.
Oh, he is really having a fit.
I feel like Debbie would be like, don't kick that tree, man. That tree didn't do nothing to you, man.
It's so funny. And she goes, well, maybe you should come back, my love, and try to make them understand you. And he says, no. And she was like, okay, my love, I'm trying to support you. I'm sorry this is putting you in such a terrible mood, but I can't control what other people say, my love. So he goes, oh, I'm coming back. I know what I'm going to say to that guy. I'm coming back. And she goes, okay. And then she goes, where are you, my love? And do you think this behavior is going to make this world a better place? Where are you? And he goes, I'm on camera now. And it's like, dun, dun, dun. And he's like on camera, but with his phone at the same time.
Yeah.
And so then we see, he's sitting on the phone with her, but he's trying to put his headphones on too for production. He's yelling at the camera, and he's like, I want to see what this fucking asshole wants. Fucking shut up your mouth, asshole. Oh, why are you crying now, honey? Why, honey? It's like, wow. He like switches on a dime.
He really does. I have to say, in his defense, it was bordering on Islamophobia with them like all ganging up on him and being so aggressive.
Yeah.
But he overreacts. He takes it to another level.
I think she was trying to say, well, why don't you talk to them and make them understand your point of view instead of flipping out and smoking and fucking asshole and this, that, and the other? Why don't you just
kicking a tree?
Kicking a tree? They didn't do anything. We need those trees in New York City. I think she was like, do you think this is making the world a better place with this behavior? So Debbie's like, poor Nicole. She just needs a hug, man. She needs a hug. And she's like, poor Nicole. And then she walks out and it's like, we got this. You got this, girl. We're here for you, girl.
Is this when she hugs her?
Debbie gets up and hugs her.
And did you see Reality Gaze posted a meme that was like Elmo hugging a child because of the fur coat that she's wearing? And Nicole is so small, she's engulfing her with the
all
feathers.
You could see was all her rings like on Nicole's head. Yeah. And Nicole's saying to Mahmoud, like, I just want everyone to try and understand each other, okay? Will you come back out with me to the screen? Okay, honey. Thank you, honey. And as he sits down, Gabe makes a point that he should have made earlier, which is his father and his stepmother are Muslim, and he has 3 younger siblings, and their parents have let the children make their own decision. And this is why he asked. And he says, this is closer to me than you understand. But Mahmoud's like, okay, so then I'm sorry. And he crosses his arms. And he's like, don't keep saying force. Don't keep saying force your kids, because you don't know. And Nicole starts to cry. And Debbie hugs her. And then we see Tim and Veronica, the color commentators, are like, wow, well, how'd you feel on that play, Veronica? Well, Tim, I think Gabe really got under Mahmoud's skin.
You think?
But I think that it's interesting, too, what Sean said, and Mahmoud says it as well, is you could choose Christian, you could choose Jewish, you could choose Muslim, and your children can later choose something different. I mean, and for Sean to say, would you give them such a hard time if it's another religion? And Gabe was just trying to say it's any kind of extremism. But I don't think Mahmoud has showed us any extremism.
It's so tricky with religion because, like, if you don't agree with someone's religion, are you allowed to call them out on it if it doesn't affect you? If she's a consenting adult, if she feels safe and that she could leave at any time, which I hope she does, then are you allowed to step in if you just don't agree with it?
Right.
Or if it's like a cult, maybe.
Right.
Religions are kind of cultish, but are you, just because you don't like this religion, are you allowed to berate someone who's grown up in that culture, doesn't know any other way?
Right. It's like if they were just started like bashing Rishi because he's Hindi, like,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you
And I
wouldn't.
think people
So,
wouldn't I don't think people would allow that. But because it's Islam, I think people are more forgiving of that.
yeah, well, I did like Sean jumping in and saying,
Yeah.
would you feel this way? But Gabe could
Mhm.
have explained it. He could have started out saying, hey, I have people in my family who are Muslim that do let them choose. And I have
He should
people in
have
my family who
approached
are
this
Christian that let people
so different.
choose. Yeah. So
He
I
came in
think Gabe
so aggressive and hot.
on everybody.
Yeah, he did. He
I
was
think he was
doing his Jabri,
he
and
was doing Jabri.
and I
Like
love
somebody told
Gabe.
him before.
I
Yeah.
love Gabe. To the person that I offended in the Facebook comments, which I'm not going to read
Right.
anymore. I love Gabe. I just don't love his takes sometimes on this tell-all, but I do love him.
I love him too. And I think that somebody said, like, oh, Gabe, you have a big opinion and a big personality, so make sure you show it. The producers really amped him up
Yeah,
to behave
totally.
that way, I
Uh-huh.
think. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then, Isabel wasn't there or whatever. So now we're going to move over to Gabe and Isabel.
Oh, sorry. Tim says, Veronica, you said that they were the couple you were banking on the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nicole and Mahmoud?
That's a
Veronica,
hot take. That's a hot take from Veronica.
what in this season has led you to believe that they are going to go the distance?
I don't know. I was like, is he confused with Gabriel and
Right,
Isabel?
exactly. Yeah.
Because that's who we're banking on here.
Yeah.
So Gabriel and Isabel, it's their turn, and Sean asks, so Gabe, how's the bulge business going? And he's like, oh, I've actually gotten a lot of men clients who want bigger bulges. And so and Danielle's like, what? Really? And she goes, yeah, they aren't all big, Danielle, and like points to Yohan. And Danielle's like, wow, okay, so it's just the same as like patting your bra. And Jen and Debbie are like, yeah, sure, we can pat our bra. Why not? Do it. And Danielle's like, that's not for me because you need to be more secure with what you're working with, I guess, but maybe I'm just lucky.
Oh, God, Danielle.
So they ask Isabel if Gabe is her boss, if she works for his business. And and he's always like, oh no, she's always the boss. And Isabel's like, no, we're a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry for
Mm-hmm.
the yawning, guys. I'm so tired of sitting on my couch taking these notes. And now we bring on Gabe's friend Trey, who I think we've been calling Max, but his name is Trey.
I don't remember him. I mean, I don't remember his name.
It's just like that friend that went to the restaurant that she doesn't like. I was like, is his name Max? Sure, he looks like a Max.
You're going to get
So
there,
Trey,
but my favorite part is Sean Robinson going, let's take a look at one particular exchange where Isabel and Trey fought. And I was like, one particular exchange, like there were many, they were together once on the show. You're
right.
creating a problem where there aren't any, and you're making up this storyline. They had one scene on the show, and you're like, let's look at one particular exchange where things got heated.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. They don't have anything wrong with them, this couple. They're just so happy. So there's nothing to be mad about. So
why don't you bring on the fabric guy and he can talk about how Gabe couldn't find the right fabric for a day? That was as big of a plot line as the Trey thing was.
Yeah, you're totally right. And then they're going to bring on the guy that helped him make the piece of pottery for the ring and be like,
exactly.
They were real jerks when they were in here. So
the kiln
Isabel
was broken,
us,
and then we had to bring in a guy to fix the kiln. And then the guy that came in to fix the kiln, he was going through a divorce, and so it was a whole thing.
Well, I don't know if like Gabe and Isabel are trying to get on Pillow Talk or something, when
right,
they're so outspoken like that. Yeah.
Happily Ever After or something.
Maybe Happily Ever After. But Pillow Talk, they wouldn't be good because Isabel doesn't speak a word
speak English,
of English, and you need half at least.
Yeah.
So Trey comes on and Isabel says, I don't agree with Trey's loose lifestyle because it could be leading my husband that way, and it bothers me. And Gabe's like, yeah, I mean, Trey likes to go to the club all the time and he gets a lot of women, but I mean, I guess she worries I might be doing the same thing. And Isabel's like, I don't like that Trey creates the opportunities because if you have a lot of opportunities, it could be easier to fail. And Trey says, listen, I'm going to say something. Y'all aren't going to like this. But when we go out, Gabe pulls a lot of women. And Gabe's like, hold on a minute. And Trey's like, Trey's like, I mean, he doesn't ever respond to them or anything. And Gabe's like, that's what you need to say. Yeah. He doesn't pull a lot of women. And women are really attracted to him. So I guess Isabel does have cause for concern. And Gabe was like, use your words correctly. You don't say I'm doing anything. So then that's when Sean is like, let's look at this particular terrible exchange, this big fight you had in this restaurant, one of many. And then we see the scene. And at the end, Gabe is like, to the talking head at that scene, he goes, her jealousy is too much. Like, let me be free. Let me live. He's just saying it like as a joke, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Isabel goes, I saw that and I got mad because I was like, oh, you want to be free? I can be free too. And he just rolls his eyes. And Sean goes, what did you mean when you said that, Gabe? And Gabe goes, to me, she's the most beautiful woman in the world. I could stare at her 24/7. I'm not looking at other women. I don't have any reason to look at other women. And she needs to trust me. And the Trey pipes in with, Gabe's not allowed to hang out with me unless it's under her supervision. And she's like, oh my God, supervision. Okay. She's like, that's not right. They all agree. Everybody on the cast is all saying Trey is a player. Trey is a player. And Yohan's like,
but he's allowed to be a player. He's single.
Why can't Trey be a player? It has nothing to do with Gabe.
Mm-hmm.
And Trey goes, no, Yohan chimes in. He's like, I think that Isabel just knows that Trey is a player and a womanizer, and she doesn't want her man around that. And Trey's like, I don't know. I think she's bringing in her insecure baggage from something else. And she's like, no. She goes, the same way I take care of my behavior, I want my husband to take care of his behavior. And I have an example. Like sometimes friendliness can be normal and other times friendliness can suggest something else. And Sean says, well, okay, we're wrapping up here. So Trey, good luck finding your soulmate. Isabel just said something but just ignored everything she said. And then goodbye, Trey.
Segues. Yeah.
No segue. Mm-mm. So Veronica,
we're obviously not going to wrap this up today. So
no, it's just like,
I wish you
good luck to your soulmate, Trey. Is Trey looking for a soulmate?
I don't
know. Oh, Veronica and Tim say, Isabel does seem pretty jealous. And Tim says, I don't want to lump the whole culture together, but that Colombian culture, the women are pretty jealous and it can come off as controlling, but that's just the way it is. And in the end of the day, you trust someone or you don't. And that's it. And Veronica's like, yeah. So that's their color commentary.
Debbie said players attract playettes, and she doesn't want Gabe to be around playettes.
I was like, is that the right word?
I've never heard it, but it's Debbie coined now.
Would it be playerette?
Playerettes? I don't know.
Would it be
never heard.
Would it be a she player instead of a he player? I don't know.
I have no idea.
All right, so now we're going to see Rishi and Jen. And this was pretty good. Because once again, Rishi has talked he's talked himself into 6 circles, never said anything, and gets called out on it.
Yeah.
So Sean says, Jen waited 2 long years to go see Rishi in India, but then multiple conflicts arose and it was too much for their relationship to withstand. So, Jen, are you still talking to Rishi? And she goes, we have spoken since you last saw us, since wherever. And Jen goes, we both went to the same wedding of a mutual friend. I assume it was in India. And there was something else in store for us that night, and we reconnected. And it's sort of like intimacy, right? So Rishi is smiling, and she goes, okay, so we were intimate. It was amazing. And then they said, how was it for you, Rishi? And he goes, salvation.
Oh my God.
I was like, wow. And
does he cry during sex? Is he the type of guy that cries during sex?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Mm-hmm.
Salvation. He stops and he prays halfway through.
I think he goes to the bathroom and does 400 push-ups beforehand, so he looks good,
For sure. Yes.
And he says salvation, and Sean goes, but Jen, you said you don't buy the cow when you get the milk for free, right? And she's like, I don't know. Look, Sean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, he's a mama's boy. And I don't think if somebody told me to choose between my family or him, I wouldn't be able to do it. So he's not going to be able to do it. So whatever. So she's like, I got one good bone in and I don't care. Right. And Debbie says, you're a coward for not standing up to your mother. the way you let her go, there was no passion. And he's like, well, basically what happened was she needed to go back. And Debbie goes, "Meow, meow, meow, meow." She
I
mocked
hope she
him.
wasn't making fun of his accent, because that's not right. Or was she just making fun of the way he talks in circles?
I think it was like, well, basically she needed to go back. And she was like, oh, why not go back? I don't think she was making fun of his accent. I think she's just like, you
Yeah.
say the same shit all the time.
Yeah.
Earlier, Gabe made fun of Mahmoud's accent.
Oh,
A
my
little bit.
gosh.
Because Mahmoud was saying, like, you say this, you say force. And Gabe was like, like right back at. I was like, what are we, 7?
Oh, my gosh.
What is going
That's not
on here?
okay.
It's not okay. You don't know them. I wouldn't even do that to my
Make
sister.
fun
Well,
of their
maybe I would.
teeth. That's what's acceptable here.
Totally. So Gabe's like, dude, you say a lot of words, but you never get to the point. And Jen goes, yeah,
That's
I know.
true.
I don't know. Jen goes, I don't know if it's a language barrier, but you're right. He does talk in circles. And Gabe says, yeah, I'm the same way. When I don't want to explain myself, my Spanish gets way worse. And Isabel laughs. I mean, that's
Yeah, it
a
was
pretty
funny.
interesting point Gabe made there.
Mm-hmm.
That he's trying to pretend like his English isn't perfect, but it's really perfect all the time.
Yeah.
So they asked Rishi, do you choose your partner or your family? And he goes, if I had to, I will choose my family. So they say, is the engagement back on? She goes, no. In my mind, absolutely not. The engagement is not back on. And Sean asked Rishi, he says, oh, yes. She's my fiance still. And all the people are like, what?
Oh
And he says, she's traveling. She's traveling here and we'll spend time together. Yeah. She's my fiance. Yeah. And Gabe goes, does your family know you are engaged? Yes or no? Yes or no?
He's like, Sean, move over, girl. I got this. He pushes her out of the chair. He sits down in the host
They're
chair.
all like, and he says, yes, they do currently know. And then they were like, not before when you told them. Do they know right now that you're engaged to her? And he goes, yeah. So several of them are like, is your mom there now? Can we talk to her? And they're like, ooh, is her mom? And he's like looking around like, is she here? Shut. So Jen says, listen, we're in touch with each other and we're in love. But he doesn't want to leave his mother's house. Like he wants to build an apartment on top of the roof for us to stay there. Okay.
Oh my God.
And that's a no. I'm not doing it. That's a no. And Kris chimes in her cowboy shirt chimes in and goes, you should just choose the person you want to be with. You should just choose. And Rishi says, well, I'm trying to find the sources of money so I can handle my family situation and I can handle being with her also. And then Tim and Veronica are like, he's actually in a bad spot because this is his culture.
Yeah.
And he has to support the family because he's like the oldest male that's working or whatever. So he is actually in a pretty bad spot here.
It
His
is. No one
family
is
said
taking
no.
into account the cultural implications of this.
Yeah. Have y'all heard that phrase, happy wife, happy life? How about happy plant, happy home? Listen, I got the happy wife, happy life part, but the happy plant, happy home, not so much. I've never been able to keep a plant alive or know what kind of tree to do, anything. I always rely on other people to tell me, or you dread that Saturday. You have to go to the nursery and haul some huge, batch of soil and all that home. Okay, listen, here's how I've solved all your problems. You're going to go to fastgrowingtrees.com. It has completely changed my thought process on how to get a tree. So you go to their website. I typed in my zip code. It said I'm zone 7. I don't know what that means. I don't have to know. It told me. Then I selected full sun because our front yard is so stinking hot in the summer. It's like the doorknob burns you when you touch it. So I chose full sun and zone 7, and then it gave me a bunch of trees to choose from, but you can also choose plants or shrubs or whatever. We wanted trees. I chose crepe myrtles, even though magnolias were an option. My mom told me to do crepe myrtles, so I have to do what my mom says. We're going to put one on each side of our house. I'm so excited. I think they're called scarlet crepe myrtles. We're going to get them here this week. They're going to be 2 to 3 feet. I'll post about them on Instagram. And then they're going to grow like to the size of our house. And then if I screw it up, which, it's a possibility that I might. They have a 30-day Alive and Thrive guarantee. So you know everything's going to look great fresh out of the box, and then you're going to be able to plant it, or let's just be honest, I'm going to get my son to plant it. And then as soon as you know, I'm going to have a big tree next to my house. So join over 1.5 million happy, fast-growing trees customers, soon to be 1.5 million and one. That's me. Go to fastgrowingtrees.com/pinkshade to get 15% off your entire order. So 15% off is a lot, especially because this is not like some super expensive website. So fastgrowingtrees.com/pinkshade and you'll get 15% off your order. Thanks. So Sean says, well, Jen and Rishi, we are glad you're back together, but there are obstacles, and two people have been monitoring this, and we want them to dig deeper. Welcome, Myra and Randy. Hi, Sean. Hi, Jen. Hi, Rishi. Hi, everybody. And I sit on the couch. So they say, Myra and Randy, how did you feel when you found out these two are back together? And Randy goes, news to me. Just found out. And Myra's like, ugh. Myra goes, look, a woman has needs. I get it. But I thought she was done. Does she
tell her friends nothing? I love this.
No. And Myra says, here's the thing. It is very literally never going to work. And Jeymi goes, hello, my name is Jeymi. I think he should just cut the umbilical cord. And then Debbie goes,
Kris and Jeymi just randomly will chime in out of nowhere and then not speak for another half an hour.
I know. It's so funny. And Debbie goes, he just wants the best of both worlds, which is exactly what he wants. He wants this girl to come over and bone him every so often. And then he's waiting for the perfect Indian wife. And Gabe says, you don't want to grow up. Bro, you have no balls, man. You got to stick up for your woman. And Nicole's like, it's hard to break with tradition, honey bunny, my love. It's so hard. It's hard. Kris is like, put your foot down. So, Sean asked, how long were you apart after the breakup we saw on the show? And he says 6 months. And they asked Jen, have you dated anyone else? And she goes, no, I never dated anyone else. She goes, Rishi is the first guy I've ever actually been vulnerable with. He's the first guy I've ever actually been in love with. And I've always been one foot out the door waiting for the next thing. And Gabe goes, weren't you married? And she was like, yeah, a couple of times. Yeah, I was.
That's why.
So Sean says, hey, Rishi, did you ever hook up with anyone else when you were separated from Jen? He goes, I'm sorry, what? I only speak Hindi. What? Did you hook up with anyone else? He goes, no. But I do get a lot of women in my DMs. I do get that. So Randy's like, there was a lot more to that DM situation than you guys heard about. It was very inappropriate. So they're all like, whoa, what do you mean? And Rishi goes, I deleted all that message with Randy because it was inappropriate. And Gabe's like, who was inappropriate?
Yeah.
Randy was inappropriate or Rishi was inappropriate? And Rishi says, she was inappropriate.
Randy was Randy.
It was Randy. And Randy goes, well, I was trying to see what he would say. So I asked for a very special photo of him. And he sent me that shirtless picture. And Jen's like, oh my God, he has no game. And of course, Danielle's like, well, we know what Yohan would have sent a picture of.
Yeah.
And Randy goes, excuses. And Randy and Myra both say, of course he's been with other women. You could tell by his DMs. Of course he has. And Sean says, well, it's time to clear the air. So here are Rishi's mom and uncle. So I was like, are they in the same house? Do they have two crews set up in the same house? They take Rishi to a hotel? What's happening there?
I don't know.
Did he know? And Sean says, so how do you guys feel like knowing that Rishi and Jen are hanging out again? And she goes, it's fine. It's no problem. They're friends. Friends can talk to each other. And Gabe goes, do you see, Jen? He is telling his mother, you are just a friend. Do you get it? And Sean says, because this is all going through a translator, Rishi says he and Jen are engaged again. And the interpreter tells them, and Rishi looks like he's about to poop his pants. He's like, oh, he's like leaning backwards and forwards like, oh no, my stomach. And the parents are like, no, that's not true. And Gabe goes, he just lies. He just lies about everything. Lies about everything. And Sean goes, Rishi, is there anything you want to tell your mom and your uncle? And Rishi goes, Mommy, when we met again, we thought again about staying together and all. And I'm thinking about maybe possibly one day when you guys are both dead, I'm thinking about marrying her.
Yeah.
And Sean's like, can you please have the translator confirm what Rishi said?
Yeah.
So the translator says, he told them that he started the relationship again and they're thinking about marriage in the future. And Rishi goes, engaged means the same as talking about the future, but until you're married, she is still free. And they're all like, oh my God. They all just throw up their hands. They all just throw up their hands. And Sean says, Rishi, will you marry Jen? And he says, yes. And Danielle says, when? And Rishi goes, she doesn't want to stay in the family home, so we have to figure out the way to do it financially. And Gabe goes, another excuse. It's another excuse. And Mahmoud goes, I don't understand. Does he want her as a wife or not? I love the way Mahmoud says her. He says hair. Yeah, he says, do you want her or not? And he says,
if you
he just
were
has
Jen,
to say.
wouldn't this be embarrassing to you?
Yes.
That they're literally bullying and peer pressuring your man into saying that he's going to marry you. I would be so embarrassed.
And it's everybody on the cast is like, what's wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
And then he finally does it and you're going to be like happy that he did it. If it took 10 people screaming at him to do it, are you really going to be happy?
Yeah.
In 3 years. Yeah.
And Gabe says, why can't you just say, Mom, I am engaged and we are getting married? And Rishi says, I'm not going to say I'm getting married just because all this pressure with all of you people over there. I'm not going to just say it because you're telling me to. And Sean goes, let's take a look back as when Mom did say yes till the marriage until she said no in private. Roll that footage. So we see the footage of that. And Jen says, I haven't seen all that footage. And she goes, honestly, I don't know if this is ever going to go anywhere. And Randy and Myra are like, praise Jesus. Amen.
Yeah.
Raise the roof. So Danielle makes a great point. And she goes, Rishi just tells everybody what he wants to hear, but it seems like his mother does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, ooh, good point, Danielle.
I believe I said that during one of our podcasts.
Probably so. It's probably where she got it from because she's jealous.
And I mentioned how Sumit's dad does the same thing.
Oh, totally. Totally. So Sean says, Shimla, that's his mom, Shimla, tell Jen exactly how you feel. And Jen's like, oh, great. So Shimla says, if you were just 6 months or 1 year older, I would have said yes. But I was surprised to hear your age. You don't have any flaws and you're very smart. The only flaw you have is your age.
Which Rishi got wrong and bumped up 2 years.
I know. They didn't address that at all.
Yeah.
And Jen's like, okay, that's absurd, but okay, I get it. It's my age. You've said it. You could stop saying it now. And then Debbie goes, what kind of a small heart do you have over there, lady? Did you teach your son to be that way too? And Mom smiles and says, nothing can happen with them more than friendship. And she just gives a happy smile. And Jen gets all mad. She's like, I'm not going to be age shamed. Now, come on now. And Jeymi goes, if you want to be her boyfriend for the rest of your life, why are you saying now you're engaged? And Jen goes, you know what? If you want to marry me, you tell them right now. You tell them right now. And he just looks down and he goes, Mommy, I am telling you, everything is fine. Everything is fine. And I love you. But I love her too from the beginning. And he says, so I'm saying it. And she's like, no, you're not. You didn't say it. You didn't say it. And he goes, Mom, okay, I'm telling you whether you give me permission or not, I am going to marry her maybe within 6 months or a year.
Wow.
And the translators
the closest we've gotten.
Yeah. The translator said, he said it. He said it. And Mom says, no, nope. And the uncle goes, nope, we don't accept it. So it's a no. It's a no. And Jen says, yeah, it sounds great, right? It's a lot of talk and no action, and we'll see. But if not, I'm going to have to move on.
Yeah, you've been saying that.
She's been saying it for 3 years, and you could just see Randy and Myra are like, boom, 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 like pounding their heads against each other at this point.
Yeah.
And Sean says, well, we will see where this relationship is in the next 6 months to a year. See you later, Mom and Uncle.
Put it on our calendar. We will be checking in to see if it happened.
And Myra and Randy, the producers tell us you have comments you'd like to make on the other couples. Go ahead,
I was
Myra and
so
Randy.
annoyed. They get to be pillow talkers, essentially. Like,
Mhm.
I've never seen that where a couple gets to jump in and another couple. Well, I guess uh John last season
Yeah,
got to get into a fight with Jabri.
sparkles.
Yeah.
Um, so Sean says, go ahead, Myra and Randy. Let's hear your hot takes. So Myra's like, I just really love Gabe and Isabel. I really applaud your story and for you to coming out and telling it and being so brave. And Randy goes, Debbie, I love you. You're my girl. But Oussama, frankly, you're an asshole. And Debbie just fans herself. It's like, mm-hmm. And Oussama, you were leading her on and wasting her time. And Oussama says, no, you don't know the story. She changed the plan. We had this plan all along. And Myra says, Danielle, I want you to know that you've emasculated Yohan and you carry his balls around in your purse. And she's just like, all right. She goes, all you want to be is in control. And Danielle's like, all right. So, and Debbie's like, I agree with that. That is true. And
Debbie.
uh,
I mean, I
Debbie's got
agree
some
with
hot
her.
takes.
I
Yeah.
agree with them, but
Danielle says, I don't have the power to take away someone's masculinity. We don't live in a culture where women have the power. So that's not on me. And Yohan's like,
uh,
she's right. Danielle just like to boss everyone around and be controlling. Danielle says, you know what? If he wants to be the patriarch, he could pay all the bills. I'll sit home and cook and be a housewife. That'd be great. I'd love it. Bring it.
okay. I can't. Okay. I have so many. This is what's bothering me about Danielle, not just that she looks orange.
Okay.
She, uh, this is twice now that she has said all of us want her to be a housewife and to do his laundry and cook and clean for him. First, it was
Uh-huh.
because he's so hot. Nobody
Right.
ever said
Right.
that. And now
Right.
she's saying, well, he doesn't make the money, but if he'll make the money, then I'll stay home and be a traditional housewife. No one is talking about those kind of gender roles or that you have to do them. Where people say, when they're saying you're emasculating him, it's about your attitude towards him and the way
Yeah.
you talk to him condescendingly and try
Yes.
to control him. It has nothing to do with being a, like, I Love Lucy housewife.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree. And
She's
it's not,
misunderstanding why we don't like her. And I want
well,
her to understand why we don't like her.
because it's not one or the other. It doesn't have to be you stay at home and you're a stay-at-home housewife or you go out and make all the money. It can't be something in the middle. It can't be
Exactly.
50, it can't be
Yeah.
50-50.
And it's more just about the way she treats him
Right. Yeah.
and talks to him.
So,
Yo no soy
Tim and
Warren Buffett.
no soul wire perfect. So Tim and Veronica, they say Rishi won't do anything. And by the time, he's off the screen, he has already run and called his mother to apologize. He will never marry Jen. And they are correct. They are
Yeah.
correct. So now they're in the green room and they're all eating their little plastic, containers of salad.
Yeah.
And Debbie goes, Jen is too good for Rishi. And Jen goes, you know what? I was super annoyed about his mom kept harping on the age difference. Like that was like, and Debbie goes, tacky. She goes, yes, it was super tacky and rude. And Debbie tells Jen, listen, that Rishi, he seems like a slippery character. And Danielle's like, you say that because people just make assumptions about attractive people. And you just assume because he's attractive that he can't be a loyal, honest guy. But that's not really true. You can't make an assumption about how he behaves in the street.
Because everyone
Mhm.
thinks Yohan is hitting on women because he's so gorgeous and has such a fit body, but he's not. He's not chasing women. He's loyal to me. None of this was about you, Danielle.
You're right. I was like, how did you come up with that?
How
She
she's
said he seems like
talking
a slippery character, not because she thinks he's a cheater, just because he lies all the time.
exactly. And you have now made it about your relationship and done some humble bragging that Yohan is super hot and is into you and loyal to you.
That's all she talks about.
Yeah.
So Debbie tells Jen, he wants to keep you on the back burner, but you shouldn't be the fun bunny. What?
I heard fun buddy, but I like fun bunny better.
Bunny.
Bunny. Fun bunny.
Like his fun bunny.
Yeah, I
Like
like it.
like his hookup or whatever.
Yeah.
And Jen says, well, here's what you guys don't understand. Rishi has no game. Like he comes off as super arrogant and no Indian woman wants that. He's not what any Indian woman wants. Who
I think
told you that? He did?
yeah. I don't know how if I do think he seems very awkward sometimes when he's
Yeah.
caught in a lie and stuff, then he doesn't seem like he has any game, but I don't
Right.
know, his Instagram profile suggests game.
Yeah. Myra says, when we were in Jaipur, we went to this internet cafe or the tattoo cafe or whatever it was. And she goes, everybody in Jaipur knew exactly who he was and said Jen should run. And Jen's like, I don't know. Like, why? Why do you need examples? Like, why? And Gabe goes, even just his Instagram, it's only pictures of him and his body and stuff. Like, I mean, there are a lot of examples. You just don't want to see it. And Gabe goes, if I was ever to send any DM to a woman, Isabel would not have that. She would not have it because it starts with the message and then his pictures and then his phone calls. And then he wants to see in person. He wants to see you in person like he was doing with Randy. And Jen's like, I mean, wherever they even go hang out, like his mom's house. And Gabe's like, hotels, you dum-dum, or that apartment he rented for you. Like, what's wrong with you?
Not getting it. Yeah.
She's not getting it.
Or her place. Like his friends say it happens whenever they go out, he disappears for the rest of the night.
I would like to see her watching that clip and seeing what she thinks about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of clip packages, now we get a clip package. They're like, let's talk about physical and sexual relationships. That's right, sex.
Oh my God. I don't need this.
So not me either. So Sean asks Danielle, a lot of people online want to know about you and Yohan and your height difference. Like, how can you get it on, the height difference? And Yohan says something about like everybody's the same height in bed. And she says, well, he's really strong and I'm really flexible. So having a relationship like that is like really exciting. And Sean asked Debbie, what do you think about Yohan comparing the size of his penis with Taylor's? And Debbie goes, your penis is all out there on the internet, man. You're always going to be known as the guy with the big ding dong. Now, come on.
But that's because of Danielle. Danielle's the one who talked about it all through their first season of Love in Paradise.
I think he has OnlyFans.
Oh yeah, he might.
I think that's what she's talking about.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And when she says you're only going to be known as that, he was like, all right. So
then he can chip in with the rent.
Right. They were like, he doesn't care. So Debbie says, listen, it's crazy because I've never been attracted to young men at all. At all. I like a seasoned gentleman around my age, but it was a total bummer that I fell in love with a guy that was 24. And they're like, what about those nights in Casablanca? She said, nights in Casablanca is wishful thinking on Oussama's part, okay?
So they never did it.
Never. I don't even know if they kissed.
I mean, that should make all of us feel better.
I'm happy she didn't have to get in that mouth hole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That mouth hole was not good.
Also, not good. The age difference is disturbing.
Yeah.
And I gave her too free of a pass for that. I admit that I was blinded by her charm. And if the roles had been reversed, I would have been screaming predator.
Do we want Debbie on Pillow Talk? That could be pretty good.
I kind of, with her son Julian.
Yeah.
I would love that. I have a feeling I disagree with him about absolutely everything. But I want them on for just one episode to see how it goes.
He would be like, no, I'm a cop.
Yeah.
And I'm using my cop instinct to tell me that something's not right there.
So America.
Winner of 2 world wars. So Sean says, when was the last time you were in an intimate relationship with someone, Debbie? And Debbie's like, oh, I don't know. It's been 12, 14 years. It's a special gift that you give to someone. And Jen's like, that's right. That's right. I was like, okay, well, you're 68 years old or 72 or something.
You do have a different perspective than most of the people on that stage.
Right. So then they ask Gabe about how his penis works. Because we see the whole thing about him explaining
it felt like 45 minutes.
And Danielle was being so intrusive.
And I felt like he was uncomfortable. Like he says he's very open about it, but he kind of was shifting a little bit. Like he just was kind of not wanting.
He's already explained it.
He's already
Yeah.
explained it, and I felt like they just kept pushing, and I was
Yeah.
getting uncomfortable for him.
So Danielle's like, how does it work? And he goes, well, Danielle, I have a penis and I put it in a vagina.
Yeah.
And she was just like, well, like things come out, like what happens? He goes, yes, because they have to like, redirect your urethra. And she goes, so you prove that women really do squirt.
Oh my God.
And he cringes worse than I would have. If I had my pearls on, I'd be clutching. And he goes, okay. He goes, I hate that word. Okay. I hate that word.
Yeah.
And Jen's like, I just never even really thought about this. I think Jen's trying to be respectful. Like, I never really thought about it. Like, it's your sex life. I don't want to, like, let's
Right.
be respectful here. Right.
Yeah.
And so Jeymi says, I do want to know about the surgery because I do have friends that have undergone this. And is it basically you turn your C word into a penis? And he says,
You could say the C word. It's a clinical term.
I don't want to say it.
Okay, that's
And
fine. You
he
don't have to.
says, when you take testosterone, your C word does get bigger. And then they take skin off of your thigh and roll it
Yeah.
into a penis size.
Which he
And
did
they
explain on the show.
and reconnect all the nerves. So he has full sensation, hot, cold, everything. And then he got to pick his penis size. And then he again tells about those complications with his surgery and how they had to unroll that skin, put it back on his thigh, reconnect it. He said he couldn't walk for 3 weeks, like couldn't use the bathroom for 9 months. He had a catheter.
It's brutal.
And it's brutal.
That was
And
the
then
best
he's
part of the conversation was this part that you're about
him
to say.
explaining it, how
Yeah.
horrible. And he says, think about how awful all this is that I've just explained to you. So it really wasn't my choice because who would choose this? Who would choose
Exactly.
to do this to
That was
themselves?
the best part. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it helped everybody understand. And also, that's enough questions for today.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the shop is closed. Read
Yeah,
a
we're done
book.
with
Go
questions.
online. It's fine.
I did like how he said, a lot of people learn a lot by getting to know me, whether they want to hear it or not.
Yeah. But I think he has to be in the mood for it. He probably doesn't want to talk about all the time. And he
Yeah.
didn't want to talk about it with Danielle.
Because Danielle's probably like, is it as big as my forearm?
Right.
So, okay. Kris and Jeymi. Wow.
Yeah.
So Sean says, Kris and Jeymi got married, but the good times didn't last long. Roll the clip. So we see the fighting at the pool about the rent. Well, what do you say is supposed to be 400, but you did 550, da 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 da. And then we see Kris pushing Jeymi out of the van. And everybody's shocked because they haven't seen this footage because when they do this tell-all, right, the whole
Right.
season hasn't aired. So everyone is shocked. And Kris goes, I deal with anger by leaving. I will calm down and come back. But if you try to stop me, I black out. It's a defense mechanism. It is. And Jeymi says to Sean, I fell in love with the scam. I fell in love with someone who didn't exist. This is totally absurd. And Kris goes, it is absurd. You know what's absurd? I was working day and night to pay for the bills, and Jeymi wasn't working. And all she was getting all I was getting from Jeymi was, you need to be here. You need to be here. And she wasn't working. And Jeymi goes, I only ever received one rent payment, and I have that proof. And Kris goes, no, what she's saying is I sent her money from my bank just that one time. And then another time I gave my mother the money to make a payment to her. And so Sean says, so in the relationship total, how much money do you think you spent? Now, I thought she was going to say like $50,000.
Yeah.
But she goes, I don't know, 10 grand, but that does include like when I was there, when I lived there, and expenses when we went on trips and stuff. And Gabe's like, well, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Did she say it does include that, or it doesn't include
It does.
That?
It
Okay.
does. It does. And Gabe's like, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. And Sean goes, Jeymi, how much money do you think Kris has given you? And she goes, 1,150 or less. And Kris scoffs like,
Okay, see, on the show, Jeymi said you paid for rent twice, at least twice.
yeah.
But
I
now
think one of the times when she lived there, and then one
Okay.
other time. She was only there for a month.
Right.
Yeah. So I think one time when she physically lived there, and then one time after. And so Kris scoffs and goes, I spent more on that on our clothing on that one time we were shopping. So she is lumping that money all together.
Yeah.
And so Sean says, do you feel like Jeymi was just using you for your money? And she goes, no, I really don't. I don't think that. I just wanted her to understand that everything I was doing when I was away from her was for her. I was working day and nights without sleep so we could have money for our future. And then Jeymi's like, hold on, I pulled up a screenshot. And it's a screenshot of one payment from Kris from $746. And
but like, why are they still talking about the money? If Kris is not accusing her of being a gold digger, even though the rest of America is, why are we still talking about the money?
I think because did she constantly send her money while she was gone, or did she send her that money one time? It seems like she sent her the money the one time.
I don't know who to believe on this. I still
don't know
don't.
either.
They're both
Maybe
talking. They're both saying inconsistent things.
Yeah, and I think that next week maybe we'll find out more. And she says, and Jeymi's like, if I was only interested in money, like, I mean, Kris told me she'd pay for the apartment. I'm still paying off the debts that I have from that apartment. And Kris shakes her head and goes, I never wanted that apartment. We had found more affordable and bigger apartments, but she wanted that one. And Jeymi says she didn't know about my health issues, but she did. She did, because when I found out she was cheating on me for the second time, I left work mad and upset, and I flipped my car. I rolled my car, and she was terrified at that time because she knew about my health injuries. So for her to lie and say she didn't know about my health injuries is bullshit. Health injuries? What are health injuries? What?
Her broken back. Her
Sean's like,
narcolepsy.
Sean's like, what? Everybody's like, wait, what? When she cheated on you the second time and you rolled your car, what? How many times have you rolled a car, girl? What?
I think because one time she broke her back and then she was leaving the hospital and she
someone
was
rear-ended
hit.
her. Mm-hmm. But this is another time.
Yeah.
Because all that was before Jeymi.
She's like Amelia Bedelia. It's just
Always
constant things are happening to her.
So Jeymi is looking at the translator, looking at the camera and goes, these lies are sick. She's sick. Like, these lies are sick. And Kris goes, fine, play the victim. That's what you always do. Fine. And Gabe goes, here's the thing. My biggest problem is you guys went into a commitment together and then you just left her, like, with what's left. And Jeymi smiles like, yeah, Gabe, yeah. And Kris goes, there's no debt unless you stayed in that apartment for months and months and months and months. And all she had to do was say something to me, and I would have paid to help her move. I would have helped her put her stuff in storage. I would have done anything. I would help her move to America today. I would sponsor her to come here. And Jeymi's like, oh my God, am I crazy? Is this crazy? How could I ever be with this crazy woman? What? And she's looking at the translator. She's like, are you crazy? Am I crazy? Who's crazy? And then she says, I did have debt, and she knows I had the debt because I had to move to the other apartment because it was too expensive. Kris is like, well, she just makes me out to be the bad guy, and all I ever tried to do was give her a better life, and I gave her everything she asked for. And Jeymi's like, I never got any of this while we were together. So, no, I could call her today, and she'll help me with this debt? Okay. And Nicole's like, this is all very convoluted, and I'm getting sort of lost in the details.
It's crazy. They're both
It's crazy.
They're both, I don't think either one of them are trustworthy. Or we need like an actual detective to go in, look at records, look at phone records, look at, bank statements, and map it out for us. But we need the whole thing regulated on phone call like recordings, because we don't know what was promised, what was said.
Right. And then Jeymi's like, she's sick. And Sean asks the status of their marriage, and Kris goes, there is no marriage. And Jeymi says, marriage? I'm single. Sean goes, all right, so Tim and Veronica want to come on out to talk. I was like, what?
Could you follow up? Are you actually divorced? Did you file for
never married? Or were you never married?
Or did you never? No, we saw them get married. Was that fake?
But maybe they didn't file the paperwork. I don't know.
The mom was crying in her work cubicle during the wedding. Was that not real? Did you trick us?
No follow-up. No follow-up.
Thanks,
Here's
Sean.
Tim.
Where is Gabe? Gabe, this is when we need you to step in, sir. You just kick that lady out of the way and jump in.
We could have had Debbie going, what? So Tim and Veronica
You're
come out.
not married, man. I don't know what to believe.
So Tim and Veronica are like, you got to bring us out of our hidey hole in the back and let us get on this couch. Because, Sean, you're letting all the balls drop.
Yeah.
So Tim sits down and goes, oh, we hadn't heard the whole story here. Like, we got to find out, like, what's really going on. All right. So Kris goes, well, here's the thing. There was this other woman. And so we know about the woman in Texas that Jeymi talked to when Kris ghosted her for a month. Was it 5 days? Was it 20 days? Was it 1 month? Unclear.
Yeah.
Unclear. We've reminded about that. And then how Kris got the DMs from that woman saying you're with Jeymi. I'm also with Jeymi. I'm the woman in Texas. And Jeymi was playing both of them and telling them both the same thing, that she loved them, that she wanted to get married to them, even though she had never met either one of them in person.
That's crazy.
And Jeymi's like, which is crazy. Jeymi's like, so
I love you.
So what?
I want to marry you, to both of them. Like this, using the same lines.
And the other woman she had known like a month, like a very short period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she gets up, Kris jumps up and shows Sean the text. And then Sean goes, what does this say? And Kris goes, I don't know. They're all in Spanish. I don't know. So she goes, this is before you were married. And Kris goes, yeah, it was before we were married. So she admits they were married.
Right. They did get married. They must have I think they emotionally they're working on the paperwork, because I don't know how long it takes to get a divorce in Colombia. Some countries it takes forever. So including the United States, it takes a long time. But I remember in like India, it could take 2 to 4 years. Do you remember submits? Yeah, it could take forever.
2 years, yeah.
Maybe they're just emotionally done and that's what they meant. Again, we would know if Sean had asked a follow-up question.
A follow-up question would have been helpful. Yeah. So Kris says, I got screenshot of Jeymi and this woman FaceTiming each other in the shower.
Oh my gosh.
And Sean goes, hey, Veronica, you speak Spanish. Let her look at it, Veronica. I was like, so does Gabe.
I know, I was thinking about that too.
And also,
I don't know if
Jen,
Gabe
apparently
did as well, maybe. I don't know.
Jen was chiming in Spanish as well. Did you notice that?
She must. I don't know how she knows Spanish, but she totally does. She dated a Spanish man. That's not right. A man who speaks Spanish.
Yeah, maybe one of her husbands. So Veronica looks at it and goes, it's Jeymi and this other woman are saying they really like each other. And Kris goes, I know right there, that word's in English. It says marry me. And Kris goes, I am not crazy. I loved her and I wanted to make it work. And she was the first person I ever loved that was female. And Jeymi goes, okay, yes, big deal. So I did send these text messages.
It also said, I love your hair. I love your face. I love your breasts.
Your feet, your toes, your fingernails. It named every body part.
Yeah.
And Jeymi says, okay. So I did send those texts. I do accept responsibility for that, but I don't consider it cheating. Kris had disappeared at that time for 1 month, and I considered our relationship over.
Was it 20 days? Or was it 1 month?
5? Or
was it 5 days?
But within 20 days, she got real tight with this other lady real fast.
You were saying marriage and breasts.
Breasts.
And shower FaceTimes.
Really, that's a lot. So Kris says, Jeymi called me so many times I would get in trouble at work, and I was going to lose my job over it.
30 to 50 times a day.
Back to Jeymi, dear Lord. Jeymi says, yes, she did, Okay, the relationship was over.
He was calling 30 to 50 times a day.
Yes, 30 to 50 times a day.
She should get together with Oussama. I know she's a lesbian. That won't work, but they both like to call that many times.
That's
believe
a lot.
He called like 100 times in a day or something.
A lot.
Yeah.
And Kris goes, I had to get my phone taken away because I was going to lose my job over it. And Sean goes, did you cheat 3 times, Jeymi? And Kris goes, yeah, 3 times. And the 3rd time was when I had already moved to Colombia. And Tim goes, no, wait. She admits to cheating once. And Jeymi goes, yes, because she has disappeared at that time. And Sean goes, now, was it 5 days or was it a month? Was it 5 days or was it a month? And I think, okay, Sean, get in there, get in the game. And then Debbie goes, Kris is the giver and Jeymi is the taker. And it's very easy to manipulate someone who has suffered because they're looking for acceptance and love. And it's very easy for a predator to take advantage of Kris. Yes, Jeymi is a predator.
Debbie should be wearing a shirt that says projection because she projects
Like,
her relationship issues on everybody. She did the same thing with Jen and the age shaming and all of that. She's just like, I see myself in them.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, wow. And the Gabe and Veronica and several other people were like, we don't agree with that. I don't think so. And Kris goes, I love her. I would do anything for her, even now. And it just kills me. And Veronica says to Kris, can't you just see that all she wanted was for you to return her call or her text? Can't you see that now? And Jeymi goes, she would disappear. She would disappear. She disappeared. And then she said, and at the same time, this woman had appeared in Kris's life. Her ex-boyfriend was also sending me photos of her nude and them having sex. And I have the pictures. And she's waving her phone around.
What? So are these old pictures or was Kris sleeping with her ex currently?
And Jeymi said at the same time, this woman appears in Kris's life. So does she mean her or she meant another woman had appeared in Kris's life and she was banging her ex-boyfriend?
This couple is a train wreck.
Totally.
And again, apologies. Should I apologize? I already went off on this. That comment really shook me. I should not go on your Facebook page ever.
Stop
I'm not going
apologizing.
to mention it anymore. I already mentioned on India Matchmaking.
No, we're done. So next time on 90 Day Tell All Part 12, they ask Nicole, who was the woman that Mahmoud was texting? And she goes, I don't know. Some girl from China. And Mahmoud says, I didn't do anything wrong with that girl. You
already apologized.
And she says, you definitely crossed some lines. It was totally inappropriate, and you know it. And he's going, no. And his brother is smiling. And Gabe goes, hey, my advice to Nicole that nobody asked for is, Nicole, get a divorce. Get a divorce. Sean asked Kris, do you have the receipts on how much you're claiming that you spent on Jeymi? And Kris goes, well, there was this one time that I was in Canada and then I had to go over the border. And so then I was in Colombia. And so I had a fourth bank account. So no, the answer is no. Someone stole my identity. Wait, that's what it is. Okay, somebody stole my identity. No. And then Jeymi
I gave it to her in Bitcoin and it's untraceable.
It's untraceable. And Jeymi goes, that's not possible because I have my move in PayPal. I don't know what my move in PayPal means. I think she means the moving of the money in PayPal. Because she shows her PayPal account. And then we see Kris just angrily wiping a tear away.
Yeah, that editing was shady. I don't think that's what she was crying over.
I don't either. So Gabe, we see Monica. And Gabe asks Monica, why is it every relationship I'm in, you have a problem with the person? And Monica goes, listen here. I don't want to offend Isabel, but, and then we don't see what she says and Gabe walks off. Now then we see,
I hope Jen everyone comes down on Monica.
I hope they do too. For her not to go to that wedding, that was awful. So Jen has this tidal wave of emotion. She gets on the phone with Rishi and she was like, I thought I was fine, but I'm not. And your mom, excuse me, but fuck her. If she says it again about my age, we will never speak again. Never. He was like, oh, shit. He was scared. Yohan.
Again, no one is bringing into the cultural element of this, but
I know
there is an age stigma in India that the mom is used to. Also, she wants a grandchild. So
also she wants him to build an apartment on their roof.
Yeah.
Yohan tells Daniele, I don't see you as a partner that I love and respect anymore. You can have all your friends and your ex-partners because I don't care anymore. And Daniele goes, this is what he does. He just throws temper tantrums and I don't see him changing. So I'm going to have to leave him.
You've been saying that for a really long time. Since before the wedding.
And that's it. There we have it. We did it in an hour, and I'm very
Are they
proud
going to
of
come
us.
after Daniele more?
Oh, we're going to have to see their whole segment. Yeah. We have to see. They've got a whole segment to come. Gabe's got a whole segment to come.
I hope they go
Kris,
after
they'll
him
start off with
too,
Kris.
the way he treated her at his birthday party. Yohan.
Yes, I do too. I hope they're all like, it was my birthday. That's what I hope they do.
Jeymi brought it up again. The month of my birthday, she was not here.
In the year of our Lord, 2023.
When Amy and I talked about it, we could not be on different sides of the fence because she is like, your birthday, you celebrate the whole month. It's like everyone must bow down on your birthday. And so she thought they were all being very, very reasonable. And I said, I couldn't care less if it's my birthday. It's not a national bank holiday. You don't have to like drop everything. And she's like, no, you do.
I like my birthday and I like to get presents, but it doesn't need to be for a whole week. It could be like that one day. And maybe take me out to dinner on a Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, everybody. Follow Kimberly and Katie at A Date with Dateline and go over to their YouTube channel and subscribe. A Date with K and K. That's where you're going to get your yellow jackets. And Katie and Kimberly both put up a lot of pictures that they've screenshot. So when they're talking about something, they put up the pictures for reference. And sometimes you're like, I didn't need to see that.
I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done that. And I'm, again, no spoilers, but there is one photo I probably should have said I shouldn't. I thought about it. And I did it.
Now I can't even remember which one it was. I had 12 glasses of wine at that point. I can't remember which one it was.
I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to say because I'll get in trouble for spoilers.
Who does it involve?
Akila.
Oh, yeah, girl. Come on.
I probably shouldn't have put that photo up.
Spoiler alert, trigger warning. But anyway, it's really, really good. And you can also listen to the audio over on their Patreon. And please follow us at Pink Shade Pod. If you want bonus content, you go to Pink Shade Prime. You can find that by going to our website, pinkshadepodcast.com, clicking Prime, or go to Supercast or Patreon and join there. Kimberly and I are just finished India matchmaking, started Jewish matchmaking.
And Katie's going to come on too.
Oh, to talk about Jewish matchmaking?
Yeah, she wants
to. Yes. And then also I probably need to send you that audio, just sidebar to myself. Then also I'm covering 90 Day Love in Paradise with Amy Archer. We've got a lot of documentaries coming up I'm going to be covering. I'm going to be covering the Randall scandal. I'm going to be covering the Bama Rush documentary. I've got some of those things coming up on the $10 and above level. So if you want that, subscribe over there. Again, I'm begging you, please follow us on Instagram at Pink Shade Pod. And I'll see you on Thursday. I've got two podcasters, the Real Housemates of New York are joining me on Thursday to talk about the reunion of Vanderpump Rules. So buckle up, buttercups. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Bye. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.